The sun dipped below the horizon, casting long, eerie shadows across Peppa Pig's cozy little house. A gentle breeze rustled the leaves, but it carried a whisper, a faint, almost imperceptible sound that seemed to slither through the air. Inside, Peppa and George were playing with their toy train, but their usual boisterous laughter was subdued. Peppa, with her bright pink cheeks, peered out the window, her eyes wide. "George," she whispered, "do you hear that?" George, clutching his dinosaur, nodded, his small snout twitching. The whisper seemed to grow louder, a low, guttural hum that vibrated through the floorboards. It was a sound they had never heard before, a sound that made the hairs on their little pigtails stand on end. Mummy Pig and Daddy Pig were in the living room, engrossed in a television program about muddy puddles. They chuckled, completely unaware of the growing unease that had settled over their children. The whisper, however, was now a distinct, almost human-like murmur. Peppa and George huddled closer, their eyes darting around the room. The shadows seemed to stretch and writhe, taking on grotesque forms in the dimming light. The air grew cold, and a faint, sweet smell, like decaying flowers, filled their nostrils. Peppa caught a glimpse of her reflection in the window pane, but it wasn't her usual cheerful face. Her snout seemed elongated, her eyes sunken, and a faint, unsettling grin stretched across her lips. She blinked, and it was gone, replaced by her normal reflection. Suddenly, a creak echoed through the house. The front door, which Mummy Pig had sworn she had locked, was now slightly ajar. A sliver of inky blackness seeped into the hallway, and from within, the whispering intensified, beckoning them. Against their better judgment, Peppa, driven by an inexplicable curiosity, slowly approached the door, George clinging to her leg, his eyes squeezed shut. The air grew heavy, and the sweet, decaying smell became almost unbearable. Outside, a gnarled, shadowy tree branch, unlike any tree in their garden, seemed to reach out towards the open door, its skeletal fingers beckoning them into the darkness. The whispers now sounded like a chorus of unseen voices. Peppa, as if in a trance, stepped outside, pulling George with her. They were no longer in their familiar garden. They were in a dark, twisted forest, the trees looming like skeletal giants, their branches clawing at the moonless sky. In the periphery of their vision, distorted, shadowy figures, vaguely resembling other Peppa Pig characters, seemed to flit between the trees, their eyes glowing with an unnatural light. They were barely visible, but their presence was chilling. Peppa's face was contorted in pure terror, a single tear tracing a path down her cheek. The whispers were now a cacophony of guttural sounds, surrounding them, pressing in on them from all sides. George, trembling uncontrollably, pointed a shaky finger into the darkness. His eyes were wide with fear, fixed on something unseen, something that made his small body tremble even more violently. On a nearby tree trunk, a faint, glowing symbol, unlike anything they had ever seen, pulsed with a sickly green light. It seemed to draw them in, its eerie glow illuminating the twisted roots around it. Despite their fear, Peppa and George found themselves walking deeper into the woods, drawn by the hypnotic glow of the symbol. The air grew colder, and the whispers seemed to coil around their ankles. The symbol pulsed faster, its green light intensifying, casting grotesque shadows that danced around them. The whispers grew louder, more insistent, forming words they almost understood, words of Peppa and George were enjoying a delightful game of hide-and-seek in their favorite woods. The sun dappled through the leaves, and the air was filled with the cheerful sounds of nature. Peppa, with a joyful giggle, began to count. George, ever the clever one, found a perfect hiding spot behind a grand old tree. As he peered out, he thought he saw a fleeting frown etched into the tree's bark. A small shiver ran down his spine, but he quickly dismissed it. Peppa finished her count and began her search, her eyes scanning the familiar trees. But the cheerful forest sounds seemed to warp, and a faint, almost inaudible whisper seemed to drift on the breeze, following her every step. Peppa approached a patch of tall, swaying grass, and to her surprise, it parted unnaturally, revealing a patch of unsettling darkness beneath. She hesitated, a prickle of unease, and walked around it. George, still hidden, also heard the insidious whispers. He tried to call out to Peppa, but his voice caught in his throat, emerging as a strained, fearful croak. His eyes widened with growing fear. Peppa's gaze fell upon a vibrant flower, and she watched in disbelief as its petals slowly wilted and turned black, only to instantly regain their vibrant color. She blinked, utterly confused. The sun, peeking through the trees, briefly transformed into a sickly green hue, then reverted to its cheerful yellow. The whispers intensified, becoming more distinct, yet still just beyond comprehension. Peppa finally found George, and a wave of relief washed over them both. But the whispers were now undeniably clear, surrounding them, seeming to emanate from every direction. The trees around them began to sway violently, despite the complete absence of wind. Black, brittle leaves rained down, crunching ominously underfoot. The ground beneath their feet became soft and spongy, as if they were treading upon something alive and breathing. They tried to quicken their pace, a growing panic in their hearts. The whispers coalesced into a low, guttural chanting, a chilling chorus that echoed through the woods. The trees seemed to lean in, their branches intertwining to form a dark, foreboding tunnel. A shadowy, elongated figure, with eyes that glowed a malevolent red, flickered into view between the trees, then vanished as quickly as it appeared. Peppa and George gasped, their hearts pounding. The chanting grew deafening, and the very ground beneath them began to pulse with a faint, crimson glow. Small, dark tendrils snaked out from the earth, reaching for their feet. Peppa and George struggled to run, but the dark tendrils wrapped around their ankles, pulling at them, slowing their desperate escape. They cried out, their voices filled with terror. The shadowy figure reappeared, closer now, its form more defined, yet still shrouded in an unsettling indistinctness. A chilling sense of dread washed over them as they perceived a faint, sinister smile. The chanting reached a terrifying crescendo, a cacophony of unseen voices. The trees around them had transformed, their bark now completely black, their branches twisted into menacing claws. The shadowy figure extended a hand, and the tendrils tightened their grip, pulling Peppa and George inexorably towards it. They screamed, but no sound escaped their lips, as if their voices had been stolen. A terrifying close-up on the figure's face revealed eyes that glowed with an intense, malevolent light. Its smile widened, revealing rows upon rows of sharp, unsettling teeth, a horrifying parody of their familiar cartoon style. Peppa and George were pulled into the inky blackness behind the figure. Their forms blurred, then vanished completely, swallowed by the encroaching shadows. It was a gloomy morning in Peppa Pig's world. A strange chill hung in the air. Peppa and George were playing when Mummy Pig noticed something peculiar at the front door. Mummy Pig, "Oh, what's this, children? A letter? But it's so dark." Peppa Pig, "Ooh, a new game. Mummy?" The card was unlike any they had seen before. Daddy Pig, ever the optimist, thought it might be an invitation to a new, exciting playgroup. Daddy Pig, "Perhaps it's a treasure hunt." Mummy Pig, "I have a bad feeling about this, Daddy Pig." Despite Mummy Pig's reservations, Daddy Pig called the number. Soon, a dark, windowless bus arrived. Many of their friends were already inside, looking a little bewildered. Susie Sheep, "Peppa, where are we going?" Peppa Pig, "I don't know, Susie. It's a surprise." The bus journey was long and silent. When they finally arrived, they were led into a vast, impersonal dormitory. The air was thick with an unspoken tension. George, "Dinosaur?" Daddy Pig, "Don't worry, George. It's just a very big sleepover." The next morning, they were led to a massive outdoor arena. A giant, unsettling doll stood at one end. This was the first game, red light, green light. The rules were simple. Move on green light, freeze on red light. Those who moved on red light were eliminated. Peppa Pig, "This isn't like hide and seek. Is it Mummy? The doll's head spun around, its eyes glowing an ominous red. Red light! It boomed. A few unsuspecting players, still moving, stumbled and fell. They were quickly escorted away by masked figures, their fate unknown. The remaining players understood the gravity of the situation. Danny Dog, I don't like this game. The next game was the sugar honeycombs. Each player was given a delicate, brittle honeycomb shape. The task was to perfectly cut out the shape without breaking it. The pressure was immense. Rebecca Rabbit, mine's an umbrella. This is too hard. Mummy Pig, be very, very careful, darling. Peppa, with a shaky hand, began to meticulously trace her circle. The silence in the room was deafening, broken only by the occasional snap of a breaking honeycomb. The masked figures watched, their presence a constant, unnerving reminder of the stakes. Peppa Pig, almost. The third game was a terrifying tug-of-war. Two teams, suspended high above the ground, pulled with all their might. The losing team would face a perilous drop. Daddy Pig, with his usual bravado, tried to rally the team. Daddy Pig, pull, everyone, pull, for the glory of Peppa Pig. George, oink, oink. The rope stretched, groaning under the immense strain. Peppa and her family, along with their friends, pulled with every ounce of their strength. The masked figures on the opposing team seemed impossibly strong, their movements precise and unyielding. The platform swayed precariously. Mummy Pig, we can do this. Together. The next challenge was the glass bridge. Players had to choose between tempered and untempered glass panels. One wrong step meant a terrifying fall into the darkness below. The tension was palpable as they approached the treacherous path. Peppa Pig, which one, Daddy? Daddy Pig, I don't know, Peppa. With a deep breath, Peppa took a leap of faith onto a panel. A faint crack echoed through the air, but it held. The relief was short-lived as the next choice loomed. Each step was a gamble, each decision fraught with peril. Mummy Pig, oh, my brave little Peppa. Finally, they reached the last game, the Squid Game, a familiar playground, but twisted into something sinister. Peppa and her family, weary but determined, stood ready to face their final opponents, the masked figures themselves. Peppa Pig, we can do this, family. Daddy Pig, for home and muddy puddles. The air crackled with tension. It was a battle of wits and agility. Peppa, usually so innocent, found a newfound determination in her eyes. The masked figure, unreadable behind its disguise, stood motionless, waiting for the signal. Mummy Pig, please be safe, my little ones. The game began. Peppa, surprisingly nimble, darted across the court, trying to outmaneuver the masked figures. George, from the sidelines, squealed with a mix of fear and excitement, cheering on his sister. George, go, Peppa, go! A masked figure lunged, but Peppa, with a quick dodge, narrowly avoided its grasp. Her heart pounded in her chest. This was no ordinary game of tag. The stakes were too high, the consequences too dire. One misty evening, Peppa and her family decided to take a walk through the mysterious woods behind their house. But these woods held secrets that no one expected. Excitedly, oh, what a lovely evening for a walk. I wonder what adventures we'll find in these woods. As they ventured deeper into the woods, the trees seemed to whisper secrets in a language only the wind could understand. Nervously, Peppa, the trees are making funny noises. Dinosaur doesn't like it here. Reassuringly, don't worry, George. It's just the wind playing tricks. Trees can't really talk. Can they? But as they walked further, they began to notice that the path they had taken seemed to have disappeared completely. Puzzled, I say, this is rather odd. I'm quite sure we came from that direction, or was it that one? Calmly, don't worry, everyone. We just need to stay together and think logically about this. Suddenly, they heard a gentle humming coming from somewhere deep within the woods. It was beautiful, but strangely hypnotic. Mesmerized, what a lovely song. It sounds like someone singing a lullaby. Should we follow it? The humming led them to a clearing where an ancient stone circle stood, covered in glowing moss that pulsed gently with the rhythm of the song. Amazed, "Wow, the stones are glowing. Are they magic stones, Peppa?" Thoughtfully, "I think they might be, George, but they don't seem scary. They seem friendly." As Peppa touched the stone, the humming grew louder, and suddenly they could understand what the voices were saying. "Kindly welcome, little visitors. We are the guardians of this ancient place. We've been waiting so long for someone to find us. Delighted. Oh my, you're real forest spirits. Are you the ones who've been singing that beautiful song?" "Warmly, yes, dear child. We sing to keep the magic of the forest alive. But we've been lonely for so very long." The spirits explained that they had been the guardians of the forest for hundreds of years, protecting all the woodland creatures. Understanding. "How wonderful! You've been taking care of all the forest animals all this time." Impressed. "This is absolutely fascinating. I had no idea such magic existed right behind our house. Hopefully, would you like to help us sing our song? It grows stronger when more voices join in harmony." And so, Peppa's family learned the ancient song of the forest, their voices blending with the spirits in perfect harmony. Joyfully, "This is the most magical thing that's ever happened to us. Can we come back and visit you again?" "Gratefully, of course, dear friends. Now that you know our song, you'll always be able to find your way back to us." The spirits guided them safely home, and from that night on, the family would often return to sing with their new magical friends. Contentedly, "I love our magical forest friends. Who knew that the most mysterious places could hold the most wonderful surprises?" And so, what began as a mysterious adventure in the Whispering Woods became the start of a beautiful friendship that would last forever. The forest spirits, with their gentle glow, explained more about their ancient home and the magic that sustained it, explaining, "Every tree, every leaf, every drop of dew in this forest holds a piece of our song. It is the lifeblood of this place." Curious, so if we sing with you, does it make the forest even more magical? Nodding, "Indeed, little one. Your joy and your voices add new notes to our ancient melody, making it stronger and brighter." And so, the Peppa family spent the rest of the evening learning about the wonders of the Whispering Woods, their hearts filled with a new kind of magic. Happily, "This was the best adventure ever. I can't wait to tell all my friends about the singing trees and the glowing stones." And as the sun began to rise, painting the sky with hues of pink and orange, Peppa and her family knew that their lives had been touched by something truly extraordinary.